Welcome back to my fifth recording of my debut novel, Paolo and the Restoration of a Childlike Optimism. Thanks for coming back and listening to the second chapter. Yesterday we learned that Frederica's life was packed up in Berlin. Chapter 2, This Street. We arrive late in Marburg. The castle still towers over the town in its old beauty, as if nothing had happened, as if I hadn't ventured out into the world, failed miserably, and now returned home with my tail between my legs. The Haspelstrasse looks the way it always looked. She doesn't seem to have noticed that I left, and accordingly she doesn't rejoice when Johannes parks the car on the side of the road a few meters from our house, and I put my feet on the well-known asphalt. I survived the car ride. Without exception, every member of my family abstained from spraying themselves this morning, wearing clothes that didn't even smell remotely of detergent. What a turnaround in daily personal hygiene! I didn't think it would be possible. However, we had to stop on the way because Mama was sitting on a pillow with a wool cover. Really, who still owns something like that when everything nowadays is made of polyester and acrylic? Johannes had to get out and put the pillow in the trunk. I inhaled a few times and Johannes rolled down the windows to ventilate, and then the rest of the trip went off without incident. The van is already there with its driver. When he sees us getting out of the car, he jumps out from behind the driver's seat and comes towards us. He and Johannes exchange a few sentences, the contents of which pass me by like the vapour from an e-cigarette, and then the driver leaves and Johannes takes the keys and opens the van. All my belongings that have made up my life in Berlin in a 6 square meter space. How pathetic, I think, that someone's life can be wrapped up and driven away just like that. We only take the bare necessities into the house. Without exception, each of us is too exhausted to carry anything that weighs more than the clothes we wear. Liesel takes my hand and pulls me up the stairs, opens the door to my old room and turns on the ceiling light. "Surprise!" she calls. It comes a bit of a shock, the sudden transformation of my childhood room. But I don't let it show. Instead, I put on a happy, amazed face and say, "Wow!" The old carpet has disappeared. Instead, raw wooden floorboards peek out from underneath the thin cotton rugs, spread asymmetrically over the floor. The curtains have also been replaced. The built-in shelves are empty and are waiting for my belongings. An Indian-inspired bedspread, in soft green and pink with a paisley pattern, lies on the bed, matching both the pillows and the mauve curtains. "I did it all by myself," says Liesel. "Everything is freshly washed with fragrance-free washing powder, and I swapped the mattress with Mama's because she bought it new last year. I checked, there's no wool in the cover, and after a year all the chemicals should have evaporated." She points to a device that's humming softly next to the door. "Johannes insisted on buying an air filter because of the cat and the tree pollen." My rapidly beating heart, which is beating not in my chest but in my throat, as if it is attempting to make its way out of the darkness of my body, tells me that I'm feeling touched. "Wow, Lilo," I say again, softer this time. "You really don't have enough to do." "It was so much fun," she says. The gleam in her eyes and the flush of her cheeks assure me that she is telling the truth, and that getting the room ready for my arrival was not a burden to her. "You know I love to spend money, especially when it's not my own. I would have liked to paint the walls too, but Johannes said that even if you use VOC-free paint, you can still react to it." "Thank you," I say simply, spreading my arms out and hugging her. I stop the tears from falling, because the last thing I want to do is to make her feel bad, but then she makes it worse by saying, "Sis, we're making it a good time here." I cry inwardly, while Liesel, who is a head shorter than me, holds me tightly. She literally clings to me, which reminds me of those tamarin monkeys, the ones with the fluffy heads and the long tails. Her short blonde haircut is like a small crown of the finest fur tickling my nose. "I'll come by tomorrow after work and help you unpack." Her grip loosens and she raises her hands, clasping them in front of her mouth to stifle a yawn. Oh, I'm so tired. I have to go home and sleep really quick. I need to get up at 7 tomorrow on a Saturday. Maybe I'll stop by sometime, I say. Oh yeah, can you get me something for lunch? Then I don't have to buy anything. This typical Liesel logic makes me laugh. Shaking my head, I say, sure thing. Great, I look forward to it. She crosses the hallway that leads to the stairs. But before she goes down, she turns around again and says, Did you know that Timo lives here now? Who? I ask. And since the only person I know by that name is related to me, I follow along with, Cousin Timo. Yep, him. He studies politics and social studies here at the university. He was only 16 when I last saw him. Man, Freddie, that was years ago. We've visited them several times since then. A line appears on her forehead. Oh, yes, you were in Berlin most of the time. She shakes her head. Why you had to choose a university so far away is beyond me. I could give her 1,000 reasons, but that would take too long now. I have to lie down, I say instead. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, she calls. I love you. Me too, I murmur, closing the door to keep the cat, my nemesis, from scurrying into the room. I stretch out on the bed, close my eyes and check my breathing, follow my in and exhale, the feeling in my lungs, the taste in my mouth. I run my tongue along the inside of my lips for any changes in my oral mucosa that might indicate I'm beginning to react to a chemical in the room, but everything feels okay. I let out a deep, relieved, yet tense sigh, staring at the ceiling, still decorated with plastic glow stars that I put there when I was 15 in the constellation of my first crush's birthday. I can't even remember the name of the guy, thanks to my cursed MCAS brain. Some of the stars have already fallen off, which is a relief. While I don't believe in omens, returning to my hometown under the constellation of a failed, or rather never happened, romance wouldn't bode well. I lie on the bed for a while, eyes closed, trying to ignore the urging of my bladder and the rumbling of my stomach and the dryness of my throat until there's a knock and Mama appears in the doorway. Need anything, sweetie? She asks. Yes, I would like a cup of warm water, but I can't ask her for it because she may have used hand cream, which will contaminate the cup and thus the water, or because she doesn't wash the cup first to avoid any traces of previous drinks, or because she could put the cup down and my stepfather could pass a crumbling piece of bread over it at that very moment. So I need to get up and get my water myself. No, I'm okay, I say. Don't you have to eat something? She says in that overly concerned voice that drives me nuts. Yes, I need to eat something, I think, but I can't go in that right now because it's too complicated, so I say, I'll make myself something in a while. What are you eating anyway? Borderline. Far too much. My stomach is tightening from so much worry. I cooked something this morning. I'll warm it up soon. Shouldn't I do that? I'm happy to bring it to you. Then you can eat here in the room away from the cat. Although the kitchen has been cat-free for a week now. Mrs. Müller, editor's note, the cleaning help, was there on Monday and cleaned the kitchen from top to bottom. She even washed the cushions. You should be fine there now. The sooner I find an apartment, the better, I think. But I nod and say, thanks, Mama. I'll be right down and just using the microwave. Ah, the microwave! She exclaims, startled. I completely forgot about it. I'll wipe it out quickly now. The door closes. Her hasty footsteps along the hall and down the stairs make me want to cry again. Nothing bad happened, I tell myself. It's just an emotional day with my family running circles around me. This thought makes me want to cry again.